You are Locked On Cougs, your daily podcast on the Houston Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Parker Ainsworth joined by Pac-12 Dailies, Christian Raw. Christian, I look at this Oregon State team, and I look at their schedule, and I know they're 0 for 3 right now, probably going 0 for 4. I don't think they're going winless. I don't know what a win looks like, and I think it's going to rely heavily on MAALIK Murphy, the quarterback. Now, Christian, I don't know if you know this background, but Cougar fans may remember that name because he played at Texas back when Houston played against Texas in the first year. Houston was in the Big 12. The last year, Texas was in the Big 12. He was the backup quarterback to Quinn Ewers. Quinn famously, Houston nearly wins that game. I don't mean to relive it for folks this is painful for, but setting context here, there was a fairly bad spot. The official was supposed to review it, may have a degree from Texas that actually it's a thing, right? And did not get reviewed. Bad spot on third down, then didn't make it on fourth down. Houston loses the ball game. But in that ball game, Quinn Ewers had to set out a couple drives hurt. He got checked out or whatever. The backup quarterback that came in for him was MAALIK Murphy. Houston's seen him before. What does he do for them to win a game this year? Even if it's not Oregon, what will a win for them entail?
Yeah, he's a playmaker, and he's an excellent quarterback. There's a reason why he was highly sought after when Duke decided to go in a different direction with bringing in the guy from Tulane, Mensa. Now, he wound up staying with going to Oregon State. I don't know if that's going to wind up being the best decision for him, but last year he was great at Duke, almost threw for 3,000 yards, 26 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. But that's where it really gets you, that ratio, that TD to interception. He's a playmaker, but he's also very aggressive. So call it a playmaker with a fault. So far this season, he's already almost thrown for 1,000 yards. That is something that's probably been the best portion that we've seen from Oregon State so far, is when he is on. He's thrown 6 touchdowns, but he's also thrown 5 interceptions. Now, a couple of those were trying to be some game winners, trying to play hero ball towards the end of the game when you were down, especially against Fresno State. So take that for what you will. But overall, MAALIK Murphy, I think, is going to be one of the biggest keys to sticking it to potentially, keeping it close against Oregon and sticking into the game against Houston, potentially giving them their first loss of the season if it happens down that route. I think MAALIK Murphy is definitely a key, but I do think if we're going to go anywhere, I think it's the defense that has to definitely change and definitely improve, Parker.
Well, I want to hear about that because honestly, I think MAALIK Murphy, I don't want to say regression. That feels way too personal when truthfully, as you mentioned, there's a lot of circumstances to this. He also has had trouble running the ball, which implies he's getting sacked a lot. Again, we're going to learn a lot more about him as Cougar fans this weekend when we watch him a little bit more closely. Yep. But the defense, they've lost their fair share of games, so I don't mean to say that they're playing impeccably, but held Fresno to 36, held Cal to 34, and for what it's worth, I know that Tech has not played a whole lot of other talented teams. Holding Tech to 45 feels like it's worth something right now. What can you tell us about that defense? Not that they're going to hold Oregon under 50, but like that seems to be something they feel better about than their offense.
Yeah, they have great players on their team. They have some good players in the trenches like Thomas Collins. They have some good players in the secondary like Skylar Thomas. They get it done. But the thing is that it hasn't been consistent. And when we're talking about Trent Bray, not to bring him back up again like we did the entire first segment here, Parker, but when we were talking about Trent Bray, the identity that he has, of course, tried to instill in Oregon State is being a tough defense. Well, unfortunately, that's not working for him so far this season. He's 111th in the country in total defense, allowing 424.3 yards per game. To put that in perspective, since we're talking about coaches potentially being fired, UCLA was 117th in total defense, and Virginia Tech was 124th. So right around that same area of not being good and potentially showing why a team with a defensive mastermind type head coach and Trent Bray being on the hot seat without question. So I think you have to find a way to improve on the defensive side, and you got to be creative, meaning you have to probably get some stunts, some blitzes, some pressures, and cause chaos, cause mayhem, cause turnovers, because so far this season, Oregon State has not done themselves any favors. They have been making bonehead mistakes on all 3 facets of the football game: offense, defense, special teams. They got to make sure they're not the only ones having bonehead mistakes, and they have to cause some issues. And I think that's the only way they keep it close with the Ducks, and that's the only way that they find a way to stay competitive with the Cougs next week.
Well, and so it sounds like defense, run the ball, don't turn it over, very simple, for lack of a better phrase, ugly football, is kind of what both these teams want to do. Houston fans, I think, uh, like the old Case Keenum days, the run and shoot days from way, way back. Even Greg Ward and H-Town Takeover was scoring a bunch of points per game. That's not what the Wilfred's era is going to be, but it's certainly going to win some games, as we're seeing. Do you think that Oregon State can play that kind of a game at a Power 4 level?
It's tough. It's really tough to think they can. I know they're towards the bottom of the entire college football when it comes to turnover margin. I think they're tied for 107th in the country when it comes to turnover margin. I think that's the number I wrote down for that. I don't have that page up on me at the moment, but either way, they're struggling. They're certainly struggling. Here's the best part for Oregon State is that it can't get any worse. I don't think. I think they're at their floor. So maybe that means they're a dangerous team. Maybe that means that Trent Bray has nothing to lose and that entire coaching staff has nothing to lose. MAALIK Murphy is trying to make himself look like an NFL prospect. There's a couple other great offensive weapons on that team as well. Walker is a great wide receiver, very underrated wide receiver in all of college football, not just the Pac-12 or in the West Coast. Hankerson, the running back, you should remember him from being a Colorado former guy. Of course, yeah, I know you too well about Colorado, just taking care of them last week. But he hasn't really stepped up. But he has been the guy that has been seen as potentially a big weapon on this team. Unfortunately, he's only averaged less than 4 yards a carry this year, only got 190 yards. He struggled in a couple of those football games this year.
So I don't mean to sit on that too much, but he's a name that coming into the season had 1,000 yards last year, led the team in carries. He's still leading the team in carries by a gigantic margin. I should point out he is the guy, but not having the same kind of success. Is that a challenging opening to the schedule, or is something else different?
Well, he was great against Fresno State. He was exactly what you would expect for him to be against Fresno State. 25 carries. I think it was almost 140 yards, if I remember correctly, but struggled against Cal. Cal might actually just turn out to be a really good team this year. Who knows? Their schedule actually looks really good too. Lots of things to keep an eye. If you're thinking ACC, keep your eye on Cal. Just little insider baseball there, Parker. But and then Texas Tech. I mean, Texas Tech, he only got 12 yards. So maybe it's just the level of competition. When he played Fresno State, he showed that he could be the running back that everybody expected him to be. But so far, it hasn't lived up to be exactly what they needed for Oregon State. Now, again, it goes on back to those same bonehead mistakes, the offense getting the football at the wrong times, and being down so fast because of those mistakes, then you completely get away and run away from the run. You have to use MAALIK Murphy and MAALIK Murphy only. So if they can stay a little bit more competitive, which they probably will not happen this weekend, just to keep it transparent and blunt, you probably won't see the same stats like you did from Fresno State from Hankerson as well this weekend.
Well, I want to talk about keeping it competitive, how Oregon could be a measure for a lot of things, and kind of look at, does Oregon State need to make big moves aside from coaching change like that in just 1 second. Before we get to all that, Christian, today's show is brought to you